Hey guys, so you ready for it? Today is May 7th, 2024, approximately 1:33 p.m. Central Time. So I watched the State Department's press briefing because it popped up on my phone. Reminded me it was there, so I watched it. As you know, I watch stuff all the time. So here's the deal. The reason I watched is because I wanted to see what they had to say about shit that's going on in Israel. Specifically, why we're not sending the weapons that we were supposed to Israel. See what the State Department had to say. And it was very interesting what his response was. Here's the deal. I said this in my last video, whenever the hell that was uploaded, a week ago or something, I don't know. And I stand by it, so when it happens and it finally comes out, you can say, are you ready for it? Said it months ago, or weeks ago, or days ago, whatever the fuck. The reason they're not doing this, in the State Department, when they just had this briefing, okay, he was obviously asked several times why they're not sending weapons. And his response was very important. And he was asked another question, too, that I'll get into. And what he said was, we don't have any commentary on that right now, blah, blah, blah. Now, the State Department really has nothing to do with weapons deployment, do they? It's DOD. So technically, he should have said, the State Department doesn't have any commentary or further statement on that. We refer you to the DOD or Department of Defense. However he wants to say it. Pentagon, whatever. And he didn't. He said the State Department, we don't have any further information on that, blah, blah, blah. And that's very prevalent and important because of the reason I'm saying they're holding back these weapons. And the reason, in my opinion, they're holding back the weapons is the Leahy Amendment. So, I'll explain that in a second. I said that in my last video. When he was asked, what is the status on the report from human rights violations regarding Israel? He said they're ongoing, we haven't finished it, blah, blah, blah. Since there's an open investigation of human rights violation, technically, by law, the United States cannot provide weapons aid of any kind to Israel. Nobody's paying attention to that in reporting or anything. It's really shocking. It's weird. It was mentioned at Fox News a while back and then just dropped off. But it was strange. So, the Leahy Amendment states that we cannot send weapons or aid to any country who has committed human rights violations. Simple as that. So, if we are investigating Israel, which we are, for human rights violations, in the meantime, we really aren't supposed to, but we could. I mean, it's just a policy decision. Send weapons to them. So they're using that amendment, in my opinion, to justify not sending these weapons, but they're too bitchy and stupid on how they're incapable of wording it correctly that it would not explode around the world. So they're just not stating it. Because if they said, and they showed their hands, and said, well, the reason we're not sending these weapons is because we have this open human rights violations report going on. And, you know, according to U.S. law, we're really not supposed to be doing this. And it's a policy we've just chosen or whatever. Then Hamas, because everybody seems to believe them, I'm not sure why. And the minions, like normal humans, other governments seem to believe. It's just shocking that people believe Hamas at all. But it was really funny because he said at the State Department, he said that they're like, what is Hamas? Is Hamas a governing body or... And then it was open-ended. And he said, Hamas is a terrorist organization. And then like 10 minutes later when they were talking about it, he's like, well, Hamas is the government of Gaza in a government body, but they're also a terrorist organization. So he kind of like sidestep bullshitted the chick that asked the question earlier, which was funny and amusing. And these politicians and press briefers of all departments, DOD, Pentagon, State Department, White House, you name it, always are idiots. So when he said, when they asked him directly about why aren't you sending weapons to Israel, and he said we don't have any further commentary on it, blah blah blah, and he didn't say we refer you to the DOD, because technically the State Department has nothing to do with weapons deployment. We refer you to the DOD. He did not say that, which means there's, in my opinion, internal discussion at the State Department. They're part of the weapons deployment of why it's not happening, and the only reason the State Department would be part of the weapons deployment would be because they're attempting to stop it because of something that happens at the State Department, which is research regarding human rights violations. So the human rights violations report is at the State Department. The State Department's preventing the weapons going through DOD to Israel. Period. End of story. They're using the Leahy Amendment. They're lying about it. And they're not telling anybody about it. Because Hamas would come out and say, hey, the IDF's fucking been torturing children and blah, 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 and killing them and burying them alive and all kinds of stupid shit to try and solidify that human rights violation report that the State Department's doing that's preventing DOD from deploying those weapons to Israel. Period. End of story. This is Are You Ready For It? Take care, guys. Have a great day.